All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to think about the last time you paid for something. You probably just, tapped your card or your phone, and that was it, right? It's something we do so often, we don't even give it a second thought. But behind that super simple tap, there's actually a pretty amazing story about security, global standards, and some very, very unlikely partners. So, have you ever actually wondered what makes that possible? I mean, how can you take a card from your bank in, say, New York and have it work instantly and securely in a little shop in Tokyo? What is the invisible tech, the magic that makes it all just work? Well, it turns out there's this quiet but incredibly powerful guardian working behind the scenes. It's an organization that has literally built the foundation of how we all pay for things today, making sure every single transaction is speaking the same secure language. Now, here's the thing. To get who this is, you first have to know who it isn't. It's not your personal bank. And while the big players like Visa and MasterCard are obviously a huge part of this, it's not them acting alone either. No, it's the technical group where all these giants come together to agree on the global rules of the road. And to really get it, we've got to go back in time a bit to when paying with a card was way, way riskier. The whole system was a mess, it was fragmented, and fraud was becoming a massive headache for absolutely everyone. So you had two big problems. First, card fraud was just exploding. I mean, those old magnetic stripes on the back of cards, they were ridiculously easy to copy. And second, there was no single global standard. So trying to build a secure system that worked everywhere was, well, basically impossible. The world desperately needed a common, secure language that every card and every payment terminal on the planet could understand. And the solution came from, of all places, a collaboration. In 1999, a new organization called EMVCo was formed to fix this mess. And it was founded by fierce head-to-head competitors who finally realized that when it came to security, they had to team up or they'd all sink. And just look at who's behind this. EMVCo is owned and run by the six absolute titans of the global payments world. You've got American Express, Discover, JCB, MasterCard, UnionPay, and Visa. These are the biggest names in the game, all sitting at the same table to write the fundamental rules for our money. So what does EMVCo actually do? Well, they're not processing your payments and they're not issuing your credit cards. Their power is in something much deeper. They write the global rulebook that literally everyone else in the payment world has to follow. Their entire reason for being boils down to this one big idea: interoperability. You can kind of think of them as the United Nations of payment tech. Their whole job is to create that common ground, that technical baseline, that guarantees a card from Japan works just as safely in Brazil as it does in Canada. And this is a really important point. They're not your typical fintech company. They aren't trying to sell you anything. They're a technical body. Their products are these super detailed rulebooks, specifications that they publish for free, so anyone, anywhere, can build payment tech that is both secure and compatible. Their whole model is this really simple but powerful three-step loop. First, they publish the rules. Then, they run these super strict testing programs to make sure that new terminals or cards are actually following those rules. And finally, they certify the labs and the tools that do all the testing, which keeps the quality high all across the globe. And their rulebook? It covers the technology you are using every single day. That little secure chip you dip or tap, that's EMV. You know that extra security check when you shop online, where you have to enter a password or a code from your phone? That's called 3D Secure. And yeah, that's them too. And the magic that makes Apple Pay and Google Pay so secure, called tokenization, which hides your real card number, you guessed it, that is also built on one of their rule books. So just how big of a deal is this invisible guardian? I mean, what's their actual impact? Well, the numbers are kind of mind-blowing. They really paint a picture of just how massive their reach is. Get this, there are almost 15 billion EMV chip cards out there in people's wallets right now. That is nearly 2 secure chip cards for every single person on Earth. The scale is just wow. And look at this chart. It shows just how completely this tech has taken over. Today, more than 96% of all face-to-face card payments on the planet are processed using that secure EMV chip. The old, easy-to-scam magnetic stripe, it's pretty much history. And this standard is now the law of the land in over 80 countries. That's what created this seamless global network we were talking about. I mean, this is what a successful global standard actually looks like. Okay, so we've covered the history, who they are, the incredible scale, but let's bring this all back to you. Why does any of this techie stuff actually matter in your daily life? This table really says it all. The old mag stripe on your card, it just held static data. The same exact information was used over and over, making it a piece of cake for criminals to steal and clone. But the modern EMV chip, that thing is basically a tiny computer. It creates a unique, one-time use code for every single purchase. It's the difference between leaving your front door wide open versus having a lock that literally changes the key every single time you use it. And that right there is the promise of EMVCo. By creating this shared technical foundation, they give all of us, you, me, the shops we buy from, and our banks, a system that we can count on to be reliable, consistent, and, most importantly, secure. So the next time you tap your card or dip that chip, or you hit a click to pay button online, just take a second to remember that unsung hero, that simple, safe transaction you just made. It's all thanks to decades of quiet teamwork and a shared global rulebook that was designed from the ground up to protect your wallet. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? As our money becomes more digital with AI and all sorts of new FinTech, who's going to write the next chapter? Will it be this powerful alliance of giants continuing to set the rules? Or will some new scrappy innovators shake things up and force a totally new kind of collaboration to define the future of how we pay?